Welcome to a Jordon Brexit special, and this is a vlog edition where we fill in some of the gaps left by the very basic import-export flow that we did last week. Now, Brexit is a complex, frustrating, fast-moving, contradictory. If you speak to HMRC like I did last night, I rang them up. I had the website open because I had a question for them about something, and she left me on the phone. When she came back, she said, "Can you go to?" And we navigated all the way back to exactly where I was. So getting the right information is difficult. You know, the actual detail, the bits that matter. I think a lot of the theoretical stuff is now out there, and people are working on it, but for practical stuff, which we're interested in, actually how it's going to work properly is, you know, it's something that's going to happen on the day. So we decided to add some bits in. I've drawn a little list here, but I want to start with TSP, Transitional Simplified Procedure, if you remember. We had a customer ask us, they're based in Germany, which is really important, and they said, "Can we apply for TSP?" And because you're based in Germany, no, you can't. You have to reside in the UK. You have to be established here in the UK, I think for a certain length of time as well. So the answer to that is unfortunately no. Deferment account. Now remember, TSP, this is a customer kindly sent in their TSP form. This is what you would get from customs, and it says you need a deferment account, and they're going to take money from you, etc., etc. Now, we thought you needed a guarantee. Well, you do, but in this document, which is from August, is the Border Delivery Group. We got drawn to a part of it, and it's quite lengthy. And it says, your financial guarantee must be in place by 30th of March 2020. Tiny little bit hidden in the middle of nowhere. So, considering you can extend your payment terms of your TSP for 12 months, you have to apply for that. This would sort of tie in, but we are going to come back to that because it's new news to us, and it's a bit conflicting from what we read earlier. VAT is accounted for in your postponed accounting. Now, if you're going to use that method, the postponed accounting, get advice from your accountant. That's the first thing. And please tell whoever's doing your customs, your clearance, that you are going to be using that process, because they will need to flag it as such. If you're not VAT registered, you've got to pay on arrival, unfortunately. So that's TSP so far. I'm sure there'll be a few more bits and bobs to that. Ireland. Can't talk about Ireland. I've just wrote it down because today is 3rd of October. Boris's proposal has been submitted. But I only mention it because the implications are, you know, a no deal or an extension, and that could lead to a general election, and that, you know, on and on and on it goes. Who knows? But we're not going near Ireland at the moment. Movement reference number, MRN. Now, very important for the driver, very important that the driver gets it. Now, we suspected it was going to be a barcode. Now we know it's going to be a barcode. Wait for it. A logistics envelope will be generated for the driver. I saw one today. Now, this is the first time I've seen it, and this is the first time most people have seen it. But it was on a slide, so I haven't got a copy, so I'm going to get a copy of it and analyse it, because I don't know where it was generated from. But this is it's just a piece of paper and the barcode's on it. Now, within this, because I was at a BFA meeting today surrounded by customs experts, and we were looking at this MRN barcode, and we were told that the drivers would have to have a smartphone and an app. Now, my heart sunk a bit because I know many Eastern European drivers don't have smartphones, not because they can't afford it, but because they're not issued it by their hauliers, by their bosses. So that could be a sticking point. But, you know, the Calais system is, they've created a fantastic system. It really is. They've invested millions into the smart border mechanism. Unlike Dover, who have not really, you know, in comparison, it is not the same. And that could be a problem in itself, you know, because Calais seem to have thought of everything, where we're not really sure about Dover and their 2 lanes and how that's going to work. Border agents, not going to discuss that right now. It is still a sticking point, how you're going to clear into the EU going the other way. So we're going to sort of look at that. We've got I've got a discussion with a few people next week, looking at the various complications of that and how we can get around it. The FTA, Freight Transport Association, had a dry run last week, which we follow quite closely. And the truck, you know, and the thing is, on the export leg, it was a controlled environment. Everything about it was controlled. Although it worked, you know, on day one, any variable is going to show its face. And there's many. And it's definitely anything but a controlled environment. So let's not pat ourselves on the back too much that we managed to get one through in the system that's been devised. Because there were still questions I had, and I've got a meeting with them next week, and I will be asking them. So, and then I'll feed this into another vlog next week. Customs, as I said, we will get a customs expert in here because it's a different language completely. If you're feeling a bit lost about it, you know, in a room full of customs experts scratching their heads as well, we're all in the same boat. You know, this is all new. Customs experts are used to dealing with ocean freight, and they're trying to apply that into this, you know, ro-ro environment, and semi-successfully, should we say, but not all the information is there. So we'll see where that goes. Also, I want them to talk to you about AEO, Authorized Economic Operator Status. It's something that will help with your guarantee, but it's just not something to be thinking about now if you don't have it, because it takes a while to get it, so there is really no point. But if you have it, you know what to do with it. Your shipper. So if you're importing, your communication with your shipper has to increase tenfold, because that's where it starts. And, you know, asking the right questions with your shippers will save a lot of headaches down the line. I can't stress enough, over communicate until you're absolutely happy and satisfied that they know what they're doing, because it's paramount. You know, it's the start of the journey. You do not want drivers turning up, getting turned away from the ferry in Calais on an import leg. So, finally, preparing documentation, process control. Now, this is pretty much about every stage, you know, of the journey, and making sure that you've got something in place to fix any potential problems along the way. So your stress points. I would recommend, you know, that first base is how quickly can you get data out of your system about your cargo being moved? Because ultimately, you need your invoice, you need your values, you need your commodity codes, your CPC codes, your net weight, your gross weight, and all these things have to be transmitted fast. So think about your IT system and how capable it is, because going forward, you know, data transfer is going to be the way. You know, it is now, but it's going to be more and more automated. And that's the point. You know, we're 5 years away from that sort of super quick, you know, flowing systems. But we've got to start somewhere. Diana, our head of operations, is currently working on a carrier video. So for your carriers, or for carriers who are watching this, because we know that they're struggling to understand what their role is in and what they need to be doing. It's almost like there's a news blackout for them to access stuff here. But what I actually think it is, there's just too much information. There's just too much. They're not sure who's meant to do what and whether it's appealing to them, you know, because if it's not, you know, they've got choices. So Deanna's going to be making a very basic carrier video for them, and I'm really looking forward to it because I think it would be really, really helpful. And although there's still some gaps that we know all about, yeah, I think it's a good thing for them to be able to see how it's going to work for them. So stay tuned for more vlogs. Our website, we're uploading all the time documents from HMRC in various areas. So keep an eye on that. It's www.jordonfreight.com. Twitter @JordonFreight. We're using to share information as well. And that's it really. So, YouTube, Jordon TV. We also have a resources. So if you go to the playlists, Brexit resources, we're putting other people's videos in there because they're helpful as well. And you can never have enough well, you can have enough information actually. That's why we're doing this these vlogs. But if you've got any questions at all, email me at brexit@jordonfreight.com, and I will try and find, if I can't answer it, I will try and find someone that can. So I hope that's been helpful and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.